Welcome to the Science of Healthy Weight Loss with Dr. Stanley K. Bernstein, a podcast that will demystify, deconstruct, and detail the journey to healthy weight loss and a healthier you. Dr. Bernstein has made it his life work to study the science of healthy weight loss. Over the past 50 years, his program has helped hundreds of thousands of people lose millions of pounds of excess weight and restore their health. Through his methods, his patients can lose up to 20 pounds every month, which can help improve their associated medical problems and even get some people off their medications altogether. Our series examines all the angles of losing weight properly, how the science works, the health benefits, why support is so important, how to keep those pounds from creeping back on, and much more. We thank you for joining us. Now, let's start losing weight. We have learned a lot over the past 5 episodes. Dr. Bernstein spoke about the importance of knowing what foods to buy, how to prepare and portion them. We had a few science lessons along the way, learning about ketosis, what's actually going on inside our body when we gain and lose weight, and how what we eat affects our blood sugar levels and cravings. We covered a host of medical issues affected by excess weight, and we learned a little bit about fad diets. We talked about how to stay motivated, and we touched on the way the team helps you maintain your weight loss. On this episode, what weight loss success feels like. We'll hear some remarkable stories from patients who have not only lost the weight, but kept it off and have changed their lives in doing so. Stories of real people, just like you, who knew they needed to make a change and found success with the Dr. Bernstein weight loss program. Hundreds of thousands of lives have been transformed with the help of the groundbreaking methods developed by Dr. Stanley K. Bernstein. It's not simply one's form or appearance where the evidence of change is so prevalent. It's deeper. It's also the emotional transformation that lifts the spirit, heals the wounds, and shines a bright light on the personality within. We've highlighted a few stories that reflect what is possible when someone reaches that defining moment to begin the journey of transformation and the overarching positive effects of successful weight loss.
Well, this is an interesting story. This is a lady who did fight with the problem of being overweight all her life. As a child, they called her chubby. She endured all the taunts, the humiliation that go along with it, all the ridicules from kids her age. She did start some formal dieting, she relates, when she was about 9 years old, but it was dieting that she did for a short time and then stopped, and then regained the weight and then stopped. And this is what we call yo-yo dieting, where people lose a few pounds, quit, put it all back on again, and do that in cycle after cycle. From the lady's point of view, she went from sizes of 10 to 24, quite a large variation in size with all that extra weight. But even at her size 10, she wasn't in a very healthy range for her height and weight. She never really got down to a normal, healthy level. This created a lot of emotional strain. She was depressed, anxious, and really at times felt hopeless that she could never achieve a good, healthy weight and make herself feel well. Before starting the program, she was what we would call a binge eater. She ate large portions of food, generally fast food that she didn't have to spend a lot of time preparing. Like she could go out and buy a pizza and eat the whole pizza, or a couple of hamburgers at a time. And she would not eat healthy food.
Dr. Bernstein goes on to explain what happens to the body when you binge eat.
This is the type of lady who would go and buy a cake and eat half or all of the cake as a meal. And she'd be taking pieces of chocolates for dessert or drinking regular pop with lots of sugar in it. People that do the binging will take large amounts of food, so they generally do feel very stuffed. The high food and the high sugar content in the food gives them a sense of well-being, and then they get upset, depressed that they've overeaten, and they try to go a long time with eating nothing, and they will go many, many hours or half a day on a starvation situation. During that phase, blood sugar levels start to drop. They become very hungry again and start a new binging episode. And obviously, this has happened over and over for many years, and she was never able to control her weight with this sort of eating pattern. And unfortunately, she did not seek counseling through her family doc or anyone else for a very, very long time. The only positive aspect that she got out of life was feeling full and eating a lot of carbohydrates. The high carbohydrates emotionally made her feel a little bit better. But again, not healthy. She went to a gym, tried to work out to try losing some weight, but it really didn't help. She became physically a little more active, but she did the physical exercise and it did not help in the slightest with weight loss.
To say a little more active was an understatement. She actually worked out with a trainer 3 days a week and on her own another 2. Why wasn't she losing weight? The light bulb went on based on what the personal trainer said that changed her mindset. The trainer said, "You are fitter than most people, but part of being fit is being at a healthy weight. And the fact is, you can out-eat any exercise program." Our patient had done just that, out-eaten her exercise program. Here's Dr. Bernstein with more.
So when she called, finally decided to do something, her interview showed that she was 278 pounds, relating to a size 24. She did start our program. We did teach her what she can eat, what types of foods, what portions to take. She was put on oral vitamins, high doses of the B vitamins and some minerals, including potassium. And she was receiving injections of B vitamins 3 days a week. And we were monitoring her regularly. She kept a food diary so we could see everything she was eating when the nurses and the physicians assessed her. In doing so, she continued to feel well. She did stay on the diet regularly. She was losing weight. Her energy levels were good. And she started eating really much better, good levels of proteins and vegetables, low carbohydrates and very low fat intake. Her energy levels picked up dramatically, although they were pretty good from her exercise, but they improved with the help of the B vitamins and also with losing weight. She had much more stamina. And from her overeating episodes previously, she did get indigestion, heartburn, some bowel irregularities, generally caused by large volumes of the wrong type of food. But she felt perfectly well after being on the diet. And she became motivated by seeing herself lose 15, 17, 20 pounds each and every consistent month and feeling well and losing a lot of inches coming right off waist, hip, and thigh areas so that she looked trimmer throughout the weight loss. And of course, feeling well, seeing positive results on a weekly basis of losing 4 or 5 pounds a week, she kept motivated to continue staying on the program. So she got down to 128 pounds at her lowest level with us. People couldn't recognize her. She was at a healthy level, feeling much better. And if we could show you the pictures, when people lose weight on this diet, they generally look like they've never been heavy to start with. Now, losing 160 pounds, if you could check her abdomen, the skin would look like she's maybe lost 10 or 15 pounds, but not what you hear stories about, a big pendulous abdomen of people who have lost 100 or more pounds and need surgery to fix it. This lady didn't need surgery at all. She looked extremely good. She found that some people wouldn't even recognize her because she had changed so much.
It was the clinic that helped her get real about what she was eating. A remarkable story of weight loss, but it doesn't end there. Losing weight is the start. Keeping the weight off is where the maintenance program kicks in.
She continued to do our program, which involved going on to maintenance, where we would then take the diet foods and increase the portion control, because now we wanted her to eat enough to keep her weight steady, not to lose more weight. And we wanted to reintroduce some of the old foods so that she could get back to a small piece of dessert once every week to start with. And then we would assess her on a weekly basis and see what portion control did for her. And it was a very important learning episode because she used to eat for someone who's 278 pounds. Now she's eating for someone who's 128 pounds. And that's a very different amount of food, different portions, and different qualities. But at the end of the day, it made her feel well and stay healthy. And she did maintenance for quite a while. And developed better eating habits, and this binging pattern of her life was totally gone. The emotional factors of overeating and being fatigued and the depression that comes with the lack of the B vitamins was totally fixed. And she has stayed a very healthy person.
We reached out to Lynn McNairn, registered nurse and manager of nursing administration at Dr. Bernstein Diet and Health Clinics, who has been working with Dr. Bernstein for 27 years. Lynn recalls a story of one patient, a priest, who began his weight loss journey in 2010. Lynn explains.
When this patient came to us at the young age of 53, his weight was 504 pounds. And being 504 pounds is not good. And it's not good for the way you look, but it's also not good for the way you feel. And when I say the way you feel, feeling internally. So not only did this young man and a man of the cloth who, is a priest, not only did he not feel well on the outside, he definitely didn't feel well on the inside. When he came to us, we reviewed his medical history, and he had diabetes. He was on medication for that. He was on medications for high cholesterol. He had high blood pressure. He had heart disease, and he also had osteoarthritis. As his journey began with us, he started losing the weight, and he was losing on an average of 4 to 5 pounds a week. He was burning fat, and even within a week of doing the program, this man started to feel better. He could notice even after 1 week that his energy level even increased slightly. And that's one of the biggest components we do here when our patients do our program, no matter how much weight they have to lose, is even after a week, definitely 2 weeks, they can notice a difference in their energy level. They start to feel really good. They're eating the right foods, and they're preparing the foods properly as well. So when he's standing up in front of his congregation every week, he actually told us that his congregation could start to see a difference in terms of what he looked like. And they were commenting on, what are you doing? It's like you're starting to fade away on us. So that gave him more motivation to continue with the program. And in 17 months, he did the program with us. He lost 303 pounds. That's like a couple of people you're losing when you take a look at that. And he felt fantastic. He would go camping. He would go hiking. The congregation he was in, they would do weekend retreats with young adults. So he felt really good that he was able to participate in those retreats and not just go, but he was able to do the hiking. He was able to do the camping, the walking, and all the exercise that you get when you're outside. And he was not out of breath. His blood pressure came down within normal limits. His diabetes, his sugar levels came down to within normal limits, and it was great because we were able to take him off a lot of his medications. He looked great and he felt great, not only from the outside, but he could feel that from the inside as well. And when you think about it, losing that amount of weight, losing that fat that's in your body, all that fat that's around your internal organs, getting rid of all of that just does wonders for the body. We probably helped him prevent a heart attack just by getting this weight off. When he came to head office to see Dr. Bernstein, I saw him when he was at 504 pounds, and I hadn't seen his transformation until he came to head office. I took one look at him and I was completely in awe, to the point where I actually started to cry because I could not believe the transformation of this gentleman. It was just so overwhelming. It was just absolutely fantastic because he was like a different person. I'm so proud of him for what he did. Now he's living a long and healthier life.
Next, let's listen to the story of a couple who felt uncomfortable in their clothes, felt their weight was becoming out of control, and needed help to get their life back on a healthy track. They found that help with the Dr. Bernstein program. This couple, let's call them Oscar and Wendy, made the decision to seek help from the Dr. Bernstein program as they had gained quite a bit of weight over 2 years and needed to do something before it became a bigger problem. The husband noted that one of his problems was portion control. He said the diet plan helped him change his eating pattern by consuming smaller portions of healthier foods. His wife commented that you really realize that certain foods you are eating are actually making you more hungry. In just 6 weeks, they lost a combined total of 57 pounds, and they continued on the program to lose a combined total of 85 pounds. When Oscar started the diet, he weighed 224 pounds and is now approximately 168 pounds. He was basically almost in a size 42 pant and is now in a 36. And how did his wife do? Well, Wendy went from a size 12 to a little smaller than a 0, weighing 100 pounds. Now, she's only 4'10", and that's a good weight for her. And they really monitor. You start your day looking in the mirror and you are like, wow, that's good, and your day is good.
We have families that have come to us to lose weight, a husband and wife, or a woman and daughter, or a parent and a child. And we find that when two people in the same family want to go on a diet and lose weight, they are, first of all, very supportive of each other. It's important that my nurses and myself encourage the patients to sit down and pre-plan their meals for a week so that both of them can decide what they're going to eat, be it a husband and wife or be it parent and a child. And if it's husband and wife, they'll decide what they socially are doing, where they're going, and what they're going to eat in advance. And they can do the shopping together, make the food list together. And along with being supportive for each other, they sit down and they eat meals together. And so they see that they're each taking portion control. Another important aspect is that they encourage each other all the way through. They see that they can stick with a diet and have the portion control and not be hungry, and the support becomes nice. They can actually notice changes week by week with losing 4 to 5 pounds. So one spouse can mention to the other, oh, your face looks nicer, you've lost an inch off your waistline, we should consider buying new clothes when you get trimmer, type of thing. All encouraging aspects. They tend to discuss with each other how much better they're feeling, how their energy levels are improved. They don't get the low blood sugar, hunger craving situations, and so they stay happy throughout the day. And they do things together, not just their eating and planning, but socializing together. When we have a parent and a child, it becomes helpful for the child to know that the mother is supportive by preparing all the foods, comments to the other person who's losing weight. You've lost an inch, I've lost 3/4 of an inch, we're both doing well, etc. And the encouragement for the child to find out what's going on at school and how their buddies are asking about them. So it becomes really helpful. And we find that when a couple are doing it together, they're less likely to cheat and go off the diet. They're less likely to nibble and taste things on the weekend. If they do go out socially, they watch each other, supervise each other, and help each other.
The couple says the accountability helped them stay focused. They note that because you're under a doctor's care, for example, he was taking blood pressure medicine and cholesterol medicine, Oscar is totally off that. As you heard in the beginning of this episode, for more than 50 years, Dr. Bernstein has helped hundreds of thousands of people. There are countless stories that reflect the human spirit. The willingness and desire to finally take that first step and begin looking toward a bright new future filled with promise. Once again, here is Lynn with a remarkable story about a patient who went from having health challenges to running a marathon.
So this young lady came to us weighing 339 pounds. You could tell she was not herself when she came into the office and when she came to join our program. You could tell that, by looking at her, she was not well presented. And we can get that from a lot of patients. I mean, coming into a diet clinic or starting a diet is not easy. So we try and make it as comfortable and welcoming as possible when our patients walk through that door or when we're talking with them on the phone. We invite them to come in, we call them by name, and we really do get to know them. And this lady came in, and even the clothes that she was wearing, they were oversized, they weren't form-fitting, her hair was down. It wasn't nicely put together. She had no makeup on. And she's not the only patient that comes in kind of looking like that, because a lot of them, when they reach a certain weight, they just have a demeanor of, well, nobody cares what I look like, but we certainly do. And when this young lady started losing the weight and started seeing it come off and she was burning the fat, every time that she came to see us, she was looking different. She would come in with a little bit more pep in her step. She would have a smile on her face. And then next thing you know, we've got some little bit of makeup happening. And she did her hair. She would color it a different color. And she just kept losing weight and losing weight. And every time she reached a 10-pound milestone, all of those clothes that didn't fit her before, she would donate them because they were out of her life and she was ready for the next step, ready for that next 10 pounds. And she continued doing that until she got down to her goal. She was able to also fix that asthma and her high cholesterol. She was on puffers when she first started with us. And then as she reached her goal, she wasn't using her puffers anymore. And one of her goals that she wanted to do was she actually wanted to run a marathon. She never did that before, but because she felt so good and so great and had the energy, she started training for that marathon. And she actually did run a marathon. And she was so pleased with herself, as were we. It was fantastic for her. We also saw that all of these baggy clothes that she used to wear, now we've got some nice slim-fitting jeans, some skinny jeans on. We got a nice leather jacket happening. She actually went out and bought her first bikini. She'd never been in a bikini before, and she actually went out and bought one. And it was absolutely fantastic. She actually had a friend of hers say, well, this program sounds expensive and, it's probably not a good investment. And she said to her friend that my life is my investment and this is worth it. So she was very happy to be with us and be medically supervised and be able to get down to that goal weight. And she actually came to head office because she wanted to meet Dr. Bernstein. She hadn't met him. And she sat down with myself and Dr. Bernstein and thanked us tremendously and thanked, Dr. Bernstein personally for having this program and for her being able to become the person that she wanted to be. And it was absolutely fantastic.
A normal and natural occurrence is weight gain during pregnancy. This isn't groundbreaking information, but it is something so many struggle with. The Dr. Bernstein program has helped thousands of women over the years with a desire to get back to the body they had prior to childbirth.
We've had thousands of women that have become heavy through their pregnancies. And we know that during a pregnancy, you should be limited with your weight gain so that you can get back to your normal weight after you deliver your baby. But many women will overeat throughout the pregnancy. They'll gain too much weight and they can't lose it.
As we've learned, everyone has different reasons for taking that first step to joining the program. Let's listen as Dr. Bernstein recounts the story of a woman who, after her third child, made the call.
In this particular patient, she had 3 pregnancies of gaining on top of each other before she decided to come to us. And some patients will come to us after having the first pregnancy finished when they see several months they can't lose weight, and we can get them on our program easily and bring the weight down. An important aspect of this is hormone control. During their pregnancy, with the estrogen and progesterone levels that they're going through, women tend to get hungrier. They want to make sure they're eating healthy, but they do tend to overeat. And it's important for the obstetrician or the doctor who's managing the woman throughout the pregnancy to make sure their weight gain is proper and sensible. And if they see them gaining too much during the pregnancy, they really should be cutting back on their food intake and giving them some advice on how to manage it. Unfortunately, a lot of women don't follow that and they end up getting heavy. With the hormone imbalances and being overweight, it's harder for them to try on their own to cut back because they get the cravings almost like someone who's binging periodically. When they come to us and lose the weight, as you've seen with this example, this woman lost 55 pounds in 3.5 months. This is very typical, by the way, for our patients, be they postmenopausal or perimenopausal or post-pregnancy. When they lose this much weight, they lose a lot of inches off their waist, hip, and thighs. They look like they've never been heavy to start with. She did go from a size 14 down to a 4. And not only did she look and feel better, but she said she felt 10 years younger. She had good energy levels back again. If a woman like this gains during pregnancy and doesn't lose it and gets pregnant again, she will end up getting even heavier during the second pregnancy and then again during the third pregnancy. And the extra weight causes more emotional factors, physical factors, etc., and obviously medical issues. But it's important to know that, yes, you can lose all the weight. Yes, you can keep it off. And if she had lost all the weight after the first pregnancy with us, then she could start again with the next pregnancy and not gain so much.
The success of the Dr. B program has prompted a couple of special thank yous from new moms.
By the way, many women that are overweight have trouble getting pregnant. They've gone to have tests done, hormone analysis done, and they've had several years of trying to get pregnant, and they can't. However, when they get on our diet and they start losing weight and they've lost a chunk, being on the diet and taking all the extra B vitamins helps their ovaries function better. They ovulate regularly, and we have had many patients who have become pregnant while they're on the diet. And I've even had 2 babies named after me, by the way, over the past many years.
No matter what age, from 20-something through to senior years, it's never too late or too early to start. Taking the initiative to make that transformation and understanding the importance of the maintenance program, this former patient was thrilled with the results and serves as an inspiration to others.
When this young lady came to us, when we were reviewing some of her weight loss history with her, she stated that as a kid growing up, she was always active. She didn't have to worry about her weight. She could eat whatever she wanted, and life was good. But as we grow older, sometimes things happen in life and job changes, which did happen with this particular patient. She found herself sitting more. She wasn't active. She just became very dormant. So next thing you know, she's put on 50 pounds. Putting on weight at any level is not good, especially even 50 pounds. When patients go into a store and they want to go shopping, sometimes you're used to seeing yourself at a certain weight. And she was used to seeing herself at a much smaller frame and at a much smaller weight. So when she went into that store and actually had to try on a size 16 pants, she was mortified. She just could not believe that all of this weight gain made her go from, a size 6, 8, 10, right up to a size 16. And that was really hard for her to comprehend. She was very, very upset. And she did have some coworkers that had tried our program, and she was a little skeptical about it. But at that point, she didn't have anything to lose except her weight. So when she came to us, we really did a lot of coaching with her and told her, you're going to start the diet. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to follow all the foods. You're going to come and see us 3 times a week. And we're going to give you all the support and guidance that you need. And that's exactly what she did. So day by day, she stuck to the program. She came to see us. Any functions that she had coming up, we would coach her through those functions to make sure that she didn't have to gain any weight. and that she was still able to stay on track with her weight loss. And she continued to see her weight come off. And as she saw it come off, that started to change her whole demeanor. It started to change how she felt about herself from the inside and the outside, which was great. And you could see that that frown that she had and the sadness that she had when she first came in, we were turning that upside down. She was smiling. She was more confident in herself. She started getting back out there and, exercising a little bit as well. But she regained her confidence. She was fantastic. And she did do maintenance. She followed through the maintenance program. And, like she had said with some of her other colleagues that didn't follow through with maintenance, that can be a big issue with the patients, because in order to learn how to eat properly after you lose the weight, you need to follow a maintenance program. We need to be able to teach you how to eat sensibly again and not gain all that weight back. So you can go out to a restaurant and we're going to teach you how to order foods and eat kind of a normal, sensible diet and not gain any of your weight back. And that's exactly what she did. We taught her how to do that. She felt great, and she actually went back to that store and did not reach for a pair of 16 size pants. She reached for a size 6 and got into a nice pair of skinny jeans. And she was just smiling from ear to ear, jumping for joy. And she was never going to see those size 16 pants again.
I'm a physician, and I've been trained to make people healthy and to live longer and treat diseases. And this is such a unique method of treatment, and the results are phenomenal. And so I love doing this type of medicine. And I love seeing the patients improving as they get better. And obviously the patients love it themselves. The nice part of them being comfortable throughout the program and us supplying all the vitamins and minerals and the right dietary advice is that the patient becomes a happier person. Some patients like this who may have gone for psychiatric care for their binge eating, they're put on antidepressants, and that creates its own problems as far as weight loss. But they're on antidepressants for long term. If we do get such a patient who's on medication, we find that we can reduce and then stop all antidepressant medications, remove the side effects from it. And think about these people who do come to us who have some of the complications already, like diabetes. Well, we can take it with the weight loss. They no longer need medication. Their blood sugars are perfectly normal. And technically, they're not diabetic anymore. They could be if they regain the weight, but they're not diabetic, and so they don't have side effects or complications of diabetes. If they're on blood pressure medication, 95% of them come off all blood pressure medication with healthy weight loss. Same with cholesterol medication. Some of them who have, especially with 160, 70 pounds of excess weight, they have breathing problems, they have sleep apnea, and they have to use a CPAP apparatus. Every one of our patients who have had a CPAP machine don't need it anymore with the weight loss. So they have a much healthier sleep, restful throughout the evening, and their lungs work better, and obviously their heart works and functions better. So many other complications. And I should tell you, our nurses love treating these patients. They see progress every few days. They see the commitment. The encouragement for the patient is very positive. And the nurses love doing the work too, because they have a major input in helping these patients. And this gives them pleasure for being in the right profession as well. The nurses are the prime hands-on factor that makes a nice difference for them.
Everyone has their own reasons for starting the program. While each one of us is different, we are all the same when it comes to the end result. We seek to be happy, healthy, and to rid ourselves of the burdens that for so long have kept us from being the people we truly want to be. We hope that you have found these stories to be inspirational and reassuring that with a proper weight loss program, anyone can successfully lose weight. So, what have you got to lose? That's it for this episode of The Science of Healthy Weight Loss with Dr. Stanley K. Bernstein. We hope this episode of Heartwarming Stories served to inspire and motivate. There is a team of professionals committed to ensuring your success as you travel the road ahead to a brighter, healthier future. To learn more about healthy weight loss, visit drbdiet.com. That's drbdiet.com. Or email your questions to podcasts@drbdiet.com. Stay healthy, and we'll talk to you in episode 7, where we look back at some of the highlights of the past episodes and have a question and answer with Dr. Bernstein that will help us learn even more about the science of healthy weight loss.